different thing that's been for a while. All the snow is gone. I got the garage door open. I'm working in shorts. We're gonna fix the steering on this convertible here. It's almost convertible season here in Buffalo, right? But I got a bad tie rod end. I believe it's this outside tie rod end on this driver's side of the car, left side, for those of you in Europe. Anyways, we're gonna fix that. Maybe we'll have to break out the torches. I'm wearing shorts. I got all the stuff lined up. Don't have anybody watching yet, but I know they'll come on. So let's get started. We'll get jacked up. We'll get it fixed. So now, if I could, this is the steering component. I had to sign for this. Do you believe that they actually had a signature required to put on a tie, or to pick up a tie rod from Amazon? I don't think I've ever had a signature required for a tie rod end. Maybe this thing is that rare, but it was only $20-some for a tie rod end. So anyways, if you hear the cat meowing, she annoys me because she makes noise a lot for no reason. She's getting old. It has been a lightning storm going on right now. So we're a minute 30 in and nobody is watching. I apologize. Must not have the right title for this, I think. So anyways, let's get started. If somebody decides to come join us, that's awesome. Let me turn this a little bit in case. You know what usually happens if I'll get my propane torch out and just put some fire in front of the camera to give it some lively action. It's a slow start here on our live stream. Haven't had that for a while. Maybe it's because I haven't been in the algorithm for. Look at, I got the fire going. That usually, for some reason, when you heat things up, it helps the algorithm. It gets people started. See, 2 people are watching already just because I got the propane torch out when we have to heat up that tie rod end to get it taken off. So, but we're going to jack this up. We're going to get the tie rod end off. I'll show you how loose it is, and then we'll hopefully put it back together and set the alignment. So let's get this going here. I'll bring the jack over. I should have probably done that first, but it's all right. Just grabbing a jack quick so we can get this. Should be able to show you how loose this thing is. Obviously, when we put this back on the road, it hasn't been on the road in at least a dozen years. Good morning, everybody. Oh, thanks. You got comments already. Thank you. Hi, Coco. How are you? Where are you from? Comment down below. You got 1 thumbs up already. I appreciate that. That helps things out. So when you put a thumbs up, it doesn't cost anything, but it does help the channel out. Coco commented maybe first. Who else we got? Yeeper Leaper. Oh, Kentucky's in the house. Love Kentucky. Indiana. No, I don't think I've ever been there. Or maybe been through it, but never actually stayed in Indiana. So Yeeper's in Indiana. Coco's in, you like Infiniti M30s? I never even heard of them before I bought this thing. I bought it because somebody was going to scrap it, and we can't have that happen. It's too solid of a car, but we got a couple things to tidy up before it's on the road. One is the steering linkage on the driver's side here, the outside, is got way too much play, and that will never pass the safety inspection. So we're going to put that on right now live. So as everyone's joining, comment down below if you're new here. Oh, hello, France. France is in the house. This is a Infiniti M30. I'm in Buffalo, New York, Niagara Falls, Buffalo, Niagara area. So if you know Buffalo chicken wings or Niagara Falls, that's kind of the area of the world I am. So, all right, I'm going to get going to get started on this. I'm going to show you how much play this thing has, and we'll work backwards from there. So if you're new to the channel, please put a 2 in the comments. That helps out a lot. We have 9 people watching right now. I think we'll maybe be able to get over 100 watching at one time. I think the most I've had is 150. So Linda Borshansky says, I'm a big car guy. What's your favorite car? Look at that. There you go. We got a troll in the house. That's all right. Oh, thanks for subbing. I appreciate that. I got my Lambo project. My Lambo project's what I'm normally working on. That's the other way. This thing turned? No, I think I'm maxed out. But I'll take you for a tour of that later. My Lambo is over there. Doesn't make sense to everyone, but it's all right. That's my midlife crisis project, so we'll get to that. Chevy Suburban. If it's a GMT 800, like 98 to 06, best vehicle platform ever. Best vehicle platform ever made. I have a Yukon. That's a 2000 that I plow the driveway with in the winter. That's right over yonder. That thing has been, that's the best $500 I ever spent. I'll tell you that story sometime. Yeah, so let me get this. We're gonna get this wheel cover off. I'm gonna jacked up. We'll get a jack stand. I gotta find my gloves. I took her on my welder. Because I'm working in shorts improperly, I'm already ready for convertible season. This is shorts weather. I don't know what it is. Probably 60 degrees outside, 60 Fahrenheit. I don't know what that is in metric. Any of you metric fans out there? Tell me what 60 degrees Fahrenheit is in metric terms. But we'll get started on this here shortly. I gotta grab something to kneel on. When I'm grinding on the Lambo, we get a lot more interest. Obviously, this is a little bit different, but that's all right. I just got to get on something solid here so we don't crush anything. Bear with me, we're almost there. Now I hate this jack sound this thing makes. Yeah, if you can see that. I'm gonna get a jack stand to put underneath it so we're safe, so it doesn't fall on us. And then we'll get started on this project. So, got it jacked up. I don't know if you can see the amount of play. When I wiggle this, can you see that on camera? It's got about, I don't know, about this much play in the steering linkage at the end of the tire, and that's because the tie rod on is shot. So, you got rid of your 99 Yukon? I've had good luck with those chassis. A lot of good luck. But that's, everyone's different. So I'm grabbing a jack stand now. This is the first time working with the garage door open in months. So it's supposed to be 70 degrees or something, close to it. In Buffalo, where we're not used to that this time of year, per se. But I'll get my impact, we'll get that out. Bear with me. Gotta grab my air hose too. Usually do this to get this thing started because once I get going on it, people usually will start watching. Okay, I gotta turn the compressor on so we'll hear some noise. Side socket. That's a 21 mil or these are 4-lug wheels. Tires are like brand new. I don't know what year they're from, but the tread on them is amazing. So we'll put that off to the side. Can you see how much play that has? Let me shut the compressor back off. Now we got the wheel off. Nobody wants to listen to that one, including me. That's obnoxious, I would say, listen to that all day. So now the problem is getting where I need to get. Got a couple different methods I use to, that's not too bad. Now I need the 3/4 to spin that nut off. So assuming this is 3/4 inch, or whatever metric conversion that is, 18, 19. I wish I could get you right down in here so you could see. Now I've hit my head on that strut 14 times. That's going to be one of those days. Okay, the nut's off. The nut's off. The jam nut's still stuck. I gotta get that in. Comment down below if you're new here. Put a 2 in chat. That helps things out tremendously. Look at, I'm getting dirty already. Look at this. Look at all that grease on my arm. That's ridiculous. 6 likes. Thank you for those. That helps the channel a lot. Clicking like is free, and it helps me and the channel and everyone that hangs out with us. It helps us out. So, I got the wrenches for the jam nut. Got my torches here so we can heat the jam nut up. I'm going to move this tire out of my way completely because it's making me mad. That's the only thing about live streaming is you can't really tell the parts how you really feel about them, you know. 7 likes, I appreciate that. We got 14 people watching. This tends to bring people, if I can get the thing to light, my sparkler is not. I think I need a new, oh yeah, we're out of sparkling. Let me get my lighter. I hang this back on the torches, I'll get my lighter. Be right back. Wow, we're not prepared today for this kind of stuff. There we go. I'm going to use the lighter here. Where's the camera? Use the lighter to light the torch. This will be a little bit more. Look at it. That stuff drives my buddy nuts. Because all that black acetylene, that's all going to end up on the white paint. And that drives him nuts. So Mark, that was for you. Anyways. Can't sleep, got a headache. Oh, yeah. I had a migraine last night with the weather change, so you might be in the same area I am. But I'm going to heat up the jam nut on this. Again, I can't show you because of a bad camera angle, but trust me when I say man, I wish I could get you down here to see what we're doing. So that's on fire a little bit, which is good. And usually this is a 3/4 inch, 21 mil. So okay, we got the jam nut nice and loose. Jam nut's nice and loose. Now we use this to dislodge the tie rod on. I know, hit it with my purse, I get it. I don't normally use a pickle fork for this, but it doesn't matter using a pickle fork because we'll get a good mechanic needs a great cutting torch. Well, that's what we just used, but I don't have to cut it out. We just have to get the proper tool for the job. Bear with me. Well now. No idea where it is. Well, we can go to plan B. What I'm going to do is turn the steering wheel so I can actually get to swinging at this thing a little bit. So bear with me. Hopefully this doesn't have steering wheel, huh? So we're at max now. We use the torch again to heat it. I have no idea where I put my pickle fork. It's probably buried in my bottom toolbox drawer, but we didn't get to that one as of yet. Fire, fire. The only problem with doing that is everything is hot. Unreal. Why would it want to come out, right? I think we just got to find that pickle fork and be done with it. I really don't understand why it's fighting me that much. Can't imagine it's there. Probably should be in this drawer right here. One of the drawers we haven't got to clean it yet. Probably buried in the bottom. Don't use the pickle fork much because it destroys the boot and here's the other problem. Guess we just gotta, there it is, finally. Look, it's like a tuning fork. I had to dig this out of the bottom of my drawer. I don't. Can you hear that ringing sound? I think you could tune a guitar to that. So, let's, hopefully this will separate it. There we go. Only took 4 hours. See how the pickle fork boot just came off? That's why I don't use it. Oh, it's still smoking. So, I'll get that there. Almost off. Man, that threads an awful lot. Okay, we'll let this cool down and then I'll show you all the play in that thing. It's got quite a bit. So let me cool that down. I'll get the new one out. We'll match this up, make sure it's right. Obviously, I don't know until I actually get it out of the box. It is an Infiniti Nissan. I think what is it, a Panther? I forgot what platform, but it's an M30 convertible, which are fairly rare. There was only 3,000 made. Only 3,000 M30 convertibles were made. This is one of them. And we saved this from going to the junkyard. So, thanks everyone that's joined us today. Thanks for all the new subscribers. The live streams have been doing well in terms of building the community. Normally I'm working on my Lambo project, which Saturn is sitting on. Here's our new tie rod end. I just got to match this up, make sure it's right. Hopefully it's right, because I just destroyed the old one taking it off, but it looks right to me just visually, but we'll get to it here in a second. I had to sign for this. Would you believe that? Amazon sent it with a certified signature. This is a new tie rod end. You can see I'm pulling in and out. It has no play. You really can't see that, but once I cool the other one off, I'll show you why we're changing this thing in the first place. But first, I'm going to grease up the threads, so when we have to make our adjustments for the alignment side of it, we'll have a freed up adjuster. And we're going to do a garage alignment, which I've done plenty of times with much success. So, okay, let's get back to where we're going. Now the tie rod end I took off had a cotter pin and a castle nut. This one does not. Wow, 11 likes. Thank you for that. That helps out a lot. Just got here, GHC. Well, thanks for joining us. GHC GTO 6.0. Justin Vanderswag. Where are you from, Justin? Where are you guys from? It is an Infiniti M30 convertible. Yeah, it does look like a T-Bird, but it's not. This is the tie rod end that was shot on the, well, this is the new one, but the one I took off was shot. So we're going to lube up the threads. I'm going to put that in place. I'll show you the other one's cooling off because I had to use my torch to get it out with some heat. She was stuck. It's been in there probably 35 years or more. So things don't like to move out that good. So in my oil can, I always have automatic transmission fluid because ATF just works the best for everything. Then I put anti-seize on the threads, give it that little bit of extra, stop it from rusting, season up. Then we could put the new tie rod in place. If you were here on the beginning of the stream, you could probably see the tire moving back about an inch at the edge of the tire. Should not have that anymore once we get this in place. So I just loosened the jam nut slightly. This hopefully threads in there, which it is. Thread it into where the jam nut is, and then we'll see where we're at with the alignment. We'll do the garage version of an alignment again. Okay, that's through. We got to tighten it. This I don't put any lubricant on because I don't want that to spin. I want it to tighten up and get solid on us. So. check that with my wrench because it's at a weird angle. Probably got to get an 18mm wrench because that feels as if it's probably a little loose. And our 7/8 is probably 21. I don't know why I grabbed standard. I don't know, I figured a lot of folks from Europe might watch this time of day, so grabbed all our SAE wrenches. So I'll just set this jam nut for now, so that it's in tight. Now you can see there's absolutely no plate in the steering like it had. So it should steer much better than it did when it last was on the road. So I'll grab my 18mm wrench. So most of my wrenches are flank drive snap-on. These, however, are Husky, older Huskies, which I think were better than the new ones. The new ones, I don't like the end of the wrench so much, the open end. It's too thick on the sides and they're tough to get into places, so that's why I'm using that. So we got the new tie rod end on. I'll just verify that the tie rod end nut, where it comes through the spindle, yeah, I could get a little bit more out of it, so I feel better about having this 100% tight. Now, I'll turn the steering wheel straight, we'll put the wheel back on, I'll show you that it doesn't have play anymore. And we'll see if our old one is cool to the touch so that I can show you how bad it was. And it was bad, like dangerous bad. If you ever seen anyone on the side of the road with a wheel pointing in a different direction and the car's going, that's because the tie rod end broke. You don't want that to happen ever. That's an important feature of safety. So it's still a little hot. I don't know if you can, the boot came off. If you can see how much play that has? Yeah, you can. That's how much play this tie rod end had. Now that's not, I mean, it's crimped down there pretty good. I don't know how long before it would actually pop out, but definitely a safety factor. So we got the new one in. Hey, Southern California is here. Orange County, GHC. I love Orange County. I've been there twice. It's beautiful. Everything's cool except the cost and the traffic. The traffic is insane, but it's beautiful country. Absolutely beautiful there. It's like, I don't know, it seems like 75 and sunny every single day, no matter what time of the year. So yeah, that's the amount of play it has. Looking at the play in here, it's probably 1/16 to 1/8 of an inch of play, but that translates to an inch of movement at the end of the tire, because a little play here equals a lot at the end. So 5 a.m. West Coast. Yes, it is. We got 7 people still here, so that's cool. 14 likes. I appreciate that. Now we got 12 in here. I love the live stream. I get to meet people from around the world. We got Southern California in the house. Kentucky was here earlier. It is left-hand drive. It is left-hand drive. Go to Nor Auto. I got this on Amazon, believe it or not. It came from a private seller, I think, because a signature required to get a new tie rod on. Never had that before on Amazon, but we'll take it. Okay, San Francisco Bay Area. Gotcha. Never been that far north in Cali. Only been to Orange County, and like I said, it was beautiful. Got to see a lot of cool sights. So, although Bay Area, I guess, is considered. Florida's in the house. All right, Dewey. What part of Florida are you in? Space Coast? I want to drive down to see the Artemis launch coming up. That would be cool. Never got to see a shuttle launch. We were there. We were close, and they scrubbed the launch when I was a kid. Never got to see a rocket launch, so something on my bucket list. I'll throw this in the garbage can. So, new tie rod end is on. We'll straighten the wheel out. I'll put the tire back on and show you that it has no more play in the steering, or very little it should. I don't know if the inner tie rod end's got anything, but it really felt as if most of the play, as you can see by how much play that tie rod end had, was all in that outer tie rod, which I believe it was. And then we'll play with the alignment eventually. I don't know if we'll do that today on this live stream, but we'll get the tire back on. Oh yeah, Melbourne. I have a t-shirt from Melbourne from, what's his name? Billy Lane's motorcycle shop, Choppers Inc. Went there about 20 years ago. Got to see, we drove up 95. We went to Miami to see the last NASCAR race, or the last Winston Cup race. And we stopped. I talked my dad and my brother into stopping at Billy Lane's shop back when, you know, chopper build-offs were the in thing. And we got to see his shop and a bunch of the cool bikes that he built before all the other stuff. You're in the south of Cocoa Beach in the mainland. Well, that's, yeah, right. That's where Melbourne is. In fact, girl that I work with, she lives in Melbourne. She works for the she works for the county. She's a county sheriff. I think she's in the Department of Corrections now. Oh, Billy Lane shop's about 10 minutes from your house? That's cool. I don't know. I know he sat for a little bit for an incident, and he's, you know, I don't know if he started his shop up again. I liked his building style and the way he does things. And if you look at my Lambo project over here, that's my Lamborghini that I'm building. Can get into what that's made out of, but that's basically what I've been live streaming. This is just a side note. Save this from the junkyard, and this is Buffalo, so we're in convertible weather now. I'm wearing shorts. I know people in Florida would be bundled up in winter clothes. It's like 65 degrees outside, but it's warm here for me. First day the garage doors open in months, so we'll take it. 18 likes, thank you for that. That helps out tremendously. All right, let's get this wheel on. Enough talking, enough blabbering. Let's get this wheel on. We'll get the torch hose out of the way now that we got the tie rod on. I gotta get a new bottle of oxygen. We just drag the torch across the ground. That's good for it. It cleans the tip as it goes. So, speaking of torches, you guys have your own oxyacetylene torches there? You probably don't need them in Florida. Everything we touch here in Western New York is seized and rusted, so the blue wrench, as we call it, is a necessity. But it is not a necessity in Southern California or Florida, maybe, unless you're on Space Coast, so you might get the saltwater action. We get the saltwater action, but it's, ooh, what is that from? Oh, I know what that's from. Dried up anti-seize. All right, let's get this wheel back. Right before, well, what's some more? This is what we use to keep the, what I use, to keep our brakes moving freely. Okay, tire going back on. There we go. First, we're going to torque this wheel when we're all done, but tighten it up with the impact first. Then I torque them with the torque wrench Never did that when I started out 30 years ago, but as I got older, I learned that it does affect the brake rotors. Believe it or not, having equal torque on the wheels. Well, your chance of having a wheel loosen up are greatly diminished. So, hopefully I didn't move you too much. Get that out. Now I'm actually moving the steering all the way across. There's really not any play in it like it had before, so that's good. Knocked up a bunch of rust off, so that'll make a little noise, but I think we're going to be good there. We'll get our jack stand out of the way. Let the car down. There we go. And we can torque the wheels and grab the torque wrench and torque the wheels. So, stud, 13 people here, 20 likes. Thanks for joining us. Something weird happened. Oh yeah. Yeah, he was driving drunk, DUI, I believe, and he hit somebody on a motorcycle. That is the story that I read. And it's unfortunate all the way around, you know. Obviously, he didn't intend on doing that, but that's what happened to Billy Lane. And he did some prison time. Yeah, it's got to be about 10 years ago now. I don't know how long he served, but I want to say he served like a couple years in prison for that. So, which is a shame. I like that dude. I thought he seemed pretty cool. We went in the shop. He was not there, or at least they told us he wasn't there. We just got to see the bikes. I took a couple pictures, got a t-shirt, and we moved on down 95. Not on A1A Beachfront Avenue, but you get the point. We stopped at Pompano Beach. Got pictures next to the Goodyear blimp because my godmother's son-in-law, figured that one out, was on the crew for that. So we got to see the Goodyear blimp in its hangar, and I got to stand next to it, go inside it, and while it was parked in the hangar. So it was cool. Anyways, we got our tie rod end done. We still have to adjust the steering for the alignment. Probably not going to do that during this live stream, but I'm going to torque the wheel right now with my torque wrench, and I'll tell you about my torque wrench. Let me grab my torque wrench. Here we go. Let me tell you a little story, and I am not I would love to get sponsored by Husky Tools. I don't know if you can see that, Husky. But I bought torque wrench 30 years ago from Home Depot, Husky Tools brand. I had it for 15 years of good hard service, and it worked fine. I then broke the end of it. I called Husky Tools at the time. Husky Tools, I got a lot of stories about Husky Tool situation, but Husky Tools, you would call the number, you'd give them the number on the tool, you tell them what happened to it, they would send you a new one in the mail, and you would throw the old one out. That's what they used to do. So I broke the handle on it. They sent me a brand new one that was even bigger, like this size. It had a wider range, and it was longer. Everything was good because they discontinued the one that I bought. Then that one was good for another 10 years plus, and my buddy borrowed it, and I don't think he broke it. I think it was starting to give me trouble at the end. You know, it would only click. It wouldn't click, and then one way it would, and at any rate, I said, don't worry about it. I'll just call for another one. I called them and they said, no, you got to bring it to the store now. But they have one. Just bring it up to the counter, and sure enough, here is my second replacement Husky torque wrench. Brand new. This would have been over $100. I literally paid like $30 for my Husky Tools torque wrench 30 years ago. So it cost me $1 per year. And if I break this, they have lifetime warranty just like Snap-on. The big benefit is I don't have to go find a Snap-on driver and go through that nonsense. I just take it there, they exchange it, done. So anyways, I love Husky Tools. Husky Tools, if you're watching, sponsor this channel, because I got a bunch of Snap-on and Mac. I think that my Husky stuff is close to as good, you know, as far as durability. The only time I really broke anything, I was definitely overusing them, I'll say. I can't say that what I was really doing, but let's just say they hold up pretty darn well, and they stand behind their products, and if you lose one, it's dollars to replace it at the store rather than hundreds. So I think Husky is owned by Stanley Tools now, and I've not had a bad experience with Husky Tools. I am not sponsored. I would love to be sponsored by them. I'm just saying, Husky brand tools have not let me down. So I am going to torque these wheels to 105 foot-pounds. It should get us in the ballpark for government work, as they say. But I want to make sure that the wheels are torqued evenly at all four corners eventually, so that we don't have any... Oh, look at the sun is shining. The sun is shining, the garage door's open, I'm wearing shorts. We're in Buffalo, New York. This doesn't happen this early in the year typically. Okay, hear that? It clicked. I mean, I'm putting enough torque on there that's moving the bushes. Just for good measure. I think we're all set on torque. Put the wheel cover back on. And other than adjusting it, I think we are all set. Now, sometimes they print a logo on the back to tell you which direction this goes. Oh, I see two. I don't know. Don't think they have a direction on those. The GMs do, but these don't. So that's all right. We don't need directions on all that. So now that we got that tie rod end done and it's labeled for that, probably should start a new stream. But you guys want to see my Lambo project? Are you interested in that stuff? My midlife crisis. I got to read some comments here. Yeah, the old Craftsman tools were good. The new ones, not so much. Too dang early where the beer is at. Yeah, well, it is. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, right? It reminds me when I was in Vegas at 10 in the morning drinking, but it was, you know, afternoon where I am, or close to it. Oh, what else we got? Wait, a few years ago, we changed the subject. I'm not really feeling this. I got you, Tracy, from daycare. How's Tracy doing? Probably left us. I apologize. The one and only Nicole. Hello, Nicole. You're retracting your messages. Not sure why. Maybe you don't like cars. I don't know. But you guys want to take a look at the Lambo? If you're still watching, I'll take you to show you my Lambo project. It's my midlife crisis. I'm turning 50 this year. Would you believe that? So, I guess either way, I am taking you for a tour of the Lambo. You got to go this way though. So let me spin you around and spin you down. Saturn the cat is sleeping on it like she normally is. So here is my Lambo. It needs a lot of body work, but we're getting there. We got a working hood and hood latch for the first time since I took the original body off this car before I rebodied it. And we got the scissor doors that have been installed for years. We got to work on getting the body work right around the headlight buckets so that it's 100%, so we can put the headlight bucket covers on, which is polycarbonate, so that it is good to go. So, anyone guess what kind of car this is? What it started out as? I'll turn the light on so you can see it better. Saturn the cat, I'm carrying you with my, anyone guess? unless you've been here before, you probably never guess what that car is. Oh, we gotta spin you this way. Saturn is sleeping. She's an old cat. I'm sorry, but I'll show you. I can show you the. Normally we got grinding going on and sparks and whatnot. Today the weather is nice. The snow is pretty much melted. How heavy is that now? That quarter in steel. I don't believe it's too much heavier than. I know it's very much lighter than what it started out as because it's only 18 gauge sheet metal with quarter inch rod, and I shortened the car quite a bit from what it started out as, but it's pretty light. If you grabbed a modern fender and one of these fenders, I would say this may be 10% heavier, in my opinion. But of course I'm biased, but it's sheet metal, so to show you the underneath of the hood, you know, it's 18 gauge sheet metal, 16 gauge in some spots. It's not anything to be really concerned with. Let me show you the doors on this thing. So I got scissor doors, because it's a Lambo, of course. We got scissor doors, but you'll see maybe when I lift the door, this is a factory door that I rebodied. This door came off of a completely different car. This door came off of a Ford Pro that was being jumped, and that's where I use the door handles and locks. Saturn, is that noise bothering you? So we got scissor doors on it. We got 20-inch wheels on it. I know I didn't name the live stream anything about the Lambo because we're doing something different here. Because we're working on that, but my Lambo project is my midlife crisis project. So let me show you what I did to make it look more like a Lambo. 45 years ago, your friend actually found a Craftsman hammer on the road. The claw end was broken off. He took it to Sears and gave him a brand new one. Yep, no questions asked. Absolutely. Rate and grow, very neat, thank you. Dewey said hi again. Thank you. Dewey's been here. Kitty's here. Hi, Kitty. Oh, you're talking about my kitty, sorry. Emojo. Yeah, this is Saturn's home in the wintertime. She sleeps on the roof. I got a pillow for her. She's an outdoor cat. She's old, dirty, and her kittens were turned into, two of them were turned into indoor cats, and they've already lived long enough that they are no longer with us. My twin turbo setup. The exhaust comes through the floorboard. The exhaust will go out the back. The intercooler is there, and the boost air will go back up to the front to feed the engine. But no one has guessed what kind of car this was to start with. Brian Ray said hello. Hello, Brian. So my Lambo here. Now, for my Canadian friends, hold on. I don't even know if the stickers are on the doors yet. My garage doors are insulated. And, oh yeah. I thought they were Wayne Dalton's, but that's my neighbor. These are Richards Wilcox, Canada. These are insulated garage doors. That's why it can be 70 in the garage when it's literally below zero outside. So it's nice. I got a heater. That heater has been good to me. Best $700 I spent. So, Nathan's been here before. He guessed it. Nathan guessed it. This car started out life as a Ford Crown Victoria P71 police car for the Buffalo, New York Police Department, Unit 552. It was, I cut apart, I rebodied it. No, not a Mitsubishi Eclipse. It is a Ford Crown Vic, not a Ford Pinto. It literally is a Crown Victoria. The Ford Crown Vic has a 115-inch wheelbase. it's too long for a supercar look. Perfect for a Dodge Charger, for like a Dukes of Hazzard car, but too long for what I needed. So at the rear frame hoops where it goes over the rear axle, I gently cut the factory welds and separated the rear frame and axle from the car, marked everything out where I had cut it, and then I took out 10 inches of the frame channel going to the back. So essentially shortened the car by 10 inches. I trimmed the front and rear of the car, and then I started rebodying it. I took the windshield and I cut it at the firewall. I moved the bottom of the windshield forward towards the engine and tilted it at a 20-degree angle to match the angle of a Lamborghini Aventador. I am not making it look like any other Lamborghini. I do not want it to look like a crappy copy of a real car. It is my own Lambo style car that's now twin turboed. So it's a 4.6 liter V8 under the hood, and I made it twin turbos in the back. Normally the P71 Crown Vic guys put the turbos underneath by the wheel or underneath the wheel wells. I stuffed them up in the back to make it look more like a rear engine, and it still runs and drives. I'm going to have low boost because everything is stock on the engine. It probably will do about 400 horse, which is not much, but considering Lambos in the 80s didn't do much horsepower at all. It's more for, taking it to Cars and Coffee. Maybe some people get a good laugh. Maybe some kid, let the kids climb all over it, sit inside it, get their picture taken with it, think they're sitting in a Lambo, It's my thing. It's not everyone's thing. And yeah, Legend, thank you. I can't wait to see it done either because I've been playing with this for years. I get bored of it, stopped working on it, and I started working on it again. Been working on the hood and the hood edges. So the hood is all made from scratch. You can actually see I use some sheet metal from the Ford probe doors that I use. I cut the door frames. To cut the door frames, I have it. I should put it in the description, but I wasn't live streaming this today. I was strictly working on that Infiniti M30 project. But I should put in the description a link to the full-length video that I made years ago about how this came to be and what it looks, how it was done in the process, because it has come a long way. It still runs and drives, stops, turns, moves as it sits, but we need quite a bit, of body work. Right now, I just made those carbon fiber headlight buckets. Never played with carbon fiber before. It's very similar to fiberglass, essentially. And I made carbon fiber headlight buckets. I got projector beams. I got accent lighting, all the things that would make it look as much as an OEM thing. It definitely has a low angle. Have you heard about some car makers are doing new cars? They're finally making car repairs, like breaking into a Ford. Yeah, I know. There's been a lot of talk of that, Dewey, and it's pretty sick. I talked to an engineer from Land Rover when I was at the Land Rover dealership years ago, and they were working on the encryption for the software so that you could not mess with any aftermarket programming or anything to do with programming the vehicles. And that's definitely a problem. This is just a fleet Ford Crown Vic. There's really nothing to this. The parts are aplenty. The calipers. Now, let me show you that. I was proud of these. Now they're dirty and dusty because I'm grinding, but yeah, if you don't have the passcodes, you won't be able to get new part to work. This is 100% true. It is ridiculous. Like, if you have a headlight, if you crash a headlight on a modern car, just a headlight bucket, I love it on my GMC Yukon. 2 pins, you pull it out, you can have it changed in like a minute. On new cars, you have to take the entire front end apart. But the headlights, those are, you have to program new headlights to the car, especially with the steering, all the steering features. When you turn the wheel, it turns where the lights are, the high beams on and off. But I am proud of the way these calipers turned out, because it's flagging me some warnings. See my Lamborghini sign on there? That I used vinyl graphics for my Lambo project, and Grammatic 69, this is my midlife crisis project that I'm working on. It runs and drives, stops, turns. It is not on the road. This is my Lambo project. I always wanted a Lambo, and yeah, I'm serious about it. Cat likes it. Saturn the Cat. You know how she got the name Saturn? Because I always had a bunch of Saturns. The dealership I worked at had a Saturn store, and a lot of the techs worked in our shop, and they all drove them. So she is named Saturn after Saturn, the car. Actually, you can see my Saturn parts bins. Look at that. When I was at the truck dealership, we were a GM medium duty truck dealership, and we get parts in those parts bins, but because Saturn went out of business, we're seeing the red ones, which are normally blue GM ones, and I grabbed all of them that I could find. So I don't know if they're worth anything, probably not, but those are my Saturn parts bins, and I still have parts for Saturns. I'd love to get an old S series again. Those were great. Hey, Rogue, what's going on? Thanks for joining. I just put a tie rod in on the Infiniti M30 Convertible. Grammatic, I never call myself a welder. I'm more of a grinder. So, but I got a snap-on MIG welder, and I welded it, so I'll own it. It's all right. Dewey, oh yeah, the 21 Kia Seltos. In order to fix the headlight, you had to take the tire underwell off. Yeah, same with 08 and up GM vehicles. You got to take the inner wheelhouse out to change the headlight buckets, or to even change a headlight. They suck. It's the stupid design. And I could show you on my plow Yukon over here. Literally, pop the hood. There's 2 pins you pull out, and the headlight bucket comes out completely. You can change it in like a minute and a half. It's really that simple. So, do you know the other nice fun thing about Kia Hyundai? If you get a Kia or a Hyundai that won't start, you go out and it won't crank. Battery's got power. It's not a battery problem. You know what the first thing to look at? Shift the transmission into reverse and see if the backup camera comes on. If your backup camera doesn't come on, your backup camera is shorted out, and it won't allow the car to start. Ask me how I know. 2 years at the Hyundai store, I can tell you I had probably a half a dozen cars get towed in like that. Will not crank, won't start, and it was the backup camera shorting out the data link. And for the data link was how the transmission control module got to tell the ECM that the car was in neutral, and therefore it wouldn't allow the engine to crank because it couldn't see neutral. So if you have a Hyundai Kia and your car is no crank, no start, make sure the backup camera is working. Usually they start giving you signs, like they start fluttering, doing weird stuff, and then they finally go out because they get moisture in them. And that is a smart component. It's that ridiculous now. It really is. So, needless to say, a couple years ago, after 26 years, I got out of the dealership world of service because things are insane. Just absolutely insane. And they're making it even harder. The right to repair, that kind of stuff, as we were just talking about, it's out of control. So, you may laugh at this project, and that's okay. Hopefully, when it's all done, it's shiny. It's not going to be perfect. It will look and, maybe have the sound with the twin turbos of something that resembles a Lamborghini. It is not a Lamborghini. What you're looking at is a Ford Crown Victoria X Buffalo police car. That's what I got. So, got a Hyundai or Kia? Best thing you can do is sell it. Yeah, so that was the other thing. While I was at Hyundai, the other part of that equation that was fun to deal with is all the thefts. So They were talking about you could steal a Hyundai or Kia with a USB cord. And that wasn't really 100% accurate. I'll tell you why they said that, because they would find out of gas with a USB cord plugged into where the ignition switch was. Hence, they would say, oh, look, they're stealing them with a USB cord. And you automatically think, oh, there was some high-tech, basically high-tech pseudoscience going on, and it wasn't that. I'm going to turn my camera around so we can talk to you. What it was, I'll tell you why they said that and how it came to be. You ready? You ready for this story? Because it's good. So how that came to be. Here we are. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare anyone. How that came to be. If you took the steering column covers off, so you take a screwdriver and pry it. They just had one or two screws that held the sandwich of the steering covers around the steering column. Kids would take a screwdriver, they'd pop the rear window, by sticking it in by the trim and twisting the screwdriver, safety glass, it pops the back glass out. They would get in the car. They'd open the driver's door, they would break the plastic steering column covers, and the ignition lock, the cylinder where you put your key in, this only works on the keyed cars, they would take that screwdriver and they pop the ignition lock out. There's just plastic tabs that held it in place, and if you pried with your screwdriver, it would pop it out, it would fall on the floor, and then they would take a USB cord or a screwdriver, a pair of vice grips, whatever, and they would, there was a metal slot that the ignition cylinder engaged, and they would take that and they would turn it with the USB cord, and the car would start up, and there's no way for a security system to kill the ignition. Yes, that was the Kia boys got you. Yeah. So, in fact, the Kia boys, I think one of the groups, they were from Buffalo. So, and there was a lot of bad things that happened with that. We don't want to get into all that, but basically, they were stealing the car. It reminded me of back in the 80s when I was growing up, right? If any of you are old enough to remember, the GM G-bodies, very similar way of stealing those cars. They would basically pop the door lock out of the door, unlock the door, get in, and then they would take the screwdriver, pop a hole in the steering column cover, and they'd use the screwdriver to manipulate the ignition switch. That would unlock the steering wheel and start the car. Very similar way of stealing them. This is not a learn how to steal a Kia Hyundai, but you have the USB cord, the flat spot, the groove in it was thin and about the same size as the part that stuck out of the ignition switch from where the ignition lock went into. So they would use that because you can't get your fingers in there a turn, but that USB cord, which most everyone has in the car, they would stick that in and use the USB cord to manipulate the ignition switch. So Fortucci, if I'm saying that correctly, you have one. So I suggested to the Hyundai people when we were doing the reprogramming on the Hyundais for the interlock, so that even if they broke the ignition lock out, it would disable the car from starting. You have to use your remote keyless lock to deactivate the alarm, because that was not programmed into the car. That was part of the reason why they were being sued. I took one of the old steering. I bought a stolen recovery, and this is a funny story. It was a stolen downtown Buffalo by where the Sabres play in the arena parking lot. Guy came up to the car, popped the rear window, popped the columns off, and started the car, and the low fuel light was on. So he didn't steal it. He left it running, and he went to another Hyundai Kia 4 cars down and stole that one and left the other car running. And that was what saved that car from actually being stolen, although theoretically it was stolen. But that owner towed it into the dealership to trade it in. They didn't want it anymore. And basically, the GM said, hey, you're looking for a cheap car. I got one for you. It's not fixed. So I bought it unfixed. I glued all the steering column parts together, put it back together, and it worked with the key as it should. I had the programming done so that it couldn't be stolen again. But what I suggested to Hyundai, and which would work with Kia too, they were only stealing the cars with the ignition locks. If it had a push button start, they couldn't steal them. So what I suggested, I took an old steering column cover that we had replaced for a stolen recovery, and I cut a circle pattern out of it, put a hole at the top, put a single screw in, and I used it as like a window to cover over the lock cylinder. So if a kid looked through the window of the car, they wouldn't see an ignition switch. And then I bought off Amazon a push button start cover, bright red, and I stuck it on the dash where a push button start would be. And then I got bright stickers saying this thing is like, under GPS surveillance, anti-theft. It didn't have any of that, but I figured if a kid walked up to it, he's looking for a car to steal, he'd see that push button start and see all the stickers on the window and say, yeah, I'm going to find another one. So that was my solution. And it would have been cheap and I thought effective, but he took it, our rep took it to the powers that be, and I said, no, we're going to just go with the programming thing. So whatever. USB switch to start my own vehicle. It's just like called Grand Theft Owner. Yeah. You could get rid of if you ever have a problem with the ignition tumblers, you can just pop that out and use vice grips or whatever to start it. Oh, hold on. Chet Flanagan. I missed your comment here. Hold on. I just had my Kia stolen on Monday. I'm sorry to hear that. Got caught the next day stealing sporting goods. Man, that car smelt of skunk. Yeah, unfortunately. They're probably just young kids out for a joyride. And we had a group of young kids in the same thing. And the kids were young and weren't experienced drivers. And I don't know if the kid was running from the cops or trying to get away, but basically flipped the car over and killed a kid in the car, unfortunately. So, they're young and I think it's kind of something to do, but that happens, unfortunately. Something where I live, stole a car and then brought it back to where they stole it. Well, that was nice of them. Yeah, when I got that car, that was a stolen recovery. They never really pulled it out of the parking lot because it was out of gas. And the lady said that she had gone to work. The gas light came on, didn't have time. She didn't want to be late for work, so just, went to work. And when they went to steal it, saw the low fuel light on and the tank on empty, they just got a different car to steal. Did they all get caught? AFX Gaming? Did they catch all the kids? The problem is I'm in New York State and half of it, there was no deterrence. They were getting basically a ticket for Grand Theft Auto, which is ridiculous because of the politicians in the state. I'm not going to get into politics, but absolutely ridiculous. Basically, catch and release. Found out the other friends of the kid stole other cars in the area too. Yeah. AFX Gaming, where are you from? I didn't see. If you put it in comments, I didn't see where you're from. Be interested to see what state you're in. So let's see who our top fans are here today. Number 1, Linda Borshi. It doesn't cut your. Linda's number 1. GHC GTO 60 is number 2. Man BX 8WL is number 3. I'm Reed Henderson is number 4. Yeeper Leaper, number 5. Dewey Brown, you are number 6. AFX Gaming, you are number 7. We got to you by number 7. That's awesome. Oh, you're in Canada? PEI. I'm in Buffalo. I'm literally from your looking forward, I'm 20 minutes from Canada. I'm 20 minutes from Fort Erie, Canada, specifically. But I don't know where PEI is. or what that acronym, whatever it's called, the initials stand for. But I have, oh, Wyoming. Wyoming's in the house, Kyle. Nice. Never been to Wyoming. I work with a guy that used to live there for a long time. And he told me how amazing the country, that part of the country is. Oh, Prince Edward Island. Thank you. Yep. Next to Nova Scotia, New Brunswick. I have somebody that was in my YouTube class last year that was from Nova Scotia. And Kentucky's in the house. Hello, Matt. Been to Kentucky. It's beautiful country, especially bourbon country. That is a great part of the United States to visit. What part of Kentucky are you at, Matt? Matthew, sorry. You have Matthew J. My eyesight as you get older, it sucks. Oh, yeah, it's safe there. Florida. Oh, another Floridian. Hey, Dre, you're in Gator Country? We had a gentleman here from Space Coast, right in, I want to say Monterey. I got Monterey. Man, it sucks getting old. Monticello, Southeast Kentucky. Very nice. I don't know if I've ever been to Southeast Kentucky. Years ago, we visited the ARC Experience, which is about an hour from Cincinnati, Ohio. That was pretty neat. And I want to say that's in Grant County, or we drove through Grant County. One of my best friends, his name's Grant, and took a picture by the courthouse or the whatever it was, the sign. Dre Fooley, what part of Florida are you in? We visited there about a year and a half ago. We drove down there, and that was nice. Oh, Matthew, you're in the mountains? So I remember going to see, when I was a kid, we went to Tennessee to Lookout Mountain, I want to say, where you could see, I think, 3 or 5 states. Once again, my memory is not as good as it used to be, but you could see Kentucky, I want to say Virginia, and something else. Yeah, Florida's neat to visit. I couldn't live there because it's so hot. Like, if anyone is in chat and is literally, I'm going to show you what it looks like outside here in Buffalo right now. So last week we had snow. I still have some snow piles from plowing snow, but we had, for your metric folks, a few weeks ago it was minus 22 degrees Celsius, minus 7 degrees Fahrenheit. And this was all snow. You can see where I was plowing because we had a lot of snow come in from Lake Erie. So I always plow into the grass to give me more room to push snow. And it is, oh yeah, Matthew, okay. Lookout Mountain, yep. Yeah, that was super cool seeing that. But anyways, there's still a little snow at the very end of my driveway. If you could see, well, it looks like there's one rock, but next to the rock, see if I got you. You could see snow there. But I'm wearing shorts and a t-shirt right now because, to me, it's shorts and t-shirt weather. Actually, a nice day, maybe. The wind's pretty low. I'll fly my drone. Well, here's my plow Yukon. This thing I bought for $500 like 10 years ago. Guy thought it needed a transmission, and he just put one in it. And he said, oh, yeah, and the speedometer stopped working. I said, oh, when did it stop shifting? Oh, at the same time the speedometer stopped working. I said, okay, we take $500 for it? He's like, yeah. So, and the vehicle speed sensor wire over the front drive shaft, and it wore through and shorted out. So I fixed the wires, and the transmission shifted like new. So that's been my plow truck for 10 years. So that plow's not even really for it, but I got the plow for free, and we made it happen. 86 in Orlando, yeah. 86 and like 1,000% humidity, right? That's the one thing that they don't talk about. They do talk about if you're talking like the desert, like if you go to Las Vegas, they say, oh, it's dry heat. Yeah, it is dry heat, but it reminds me of sticking your head in an oven. The dry heat is like unbelievable. So, okay. So we're back to this. We're hour 20 in the live stream. We got 27 likes. Appreciate those. I know we just did that tie rod end on the Infiniti. We'll get to this later probably today. We'll probably cut the live stream off here. And I appreciate everyone who joined today. I know I haven't been making as much content as of this week because I had quite the week at work. So apologize for that. We'll get back to building some more things on the Lambo. If you like this kind of stuff, stick around. Hopefully this year I'll have it on the road. So that's the hope. We can always hope and pray, right? So anyways, thank you everyone for joining us today. I appreciate you. I appreciate all the new subscribers we got. It's been a lot of fun, actually. You guys are building this channel much greater than I ever have anticipated. It is unreal. So have a great Saturday. Maybe check in with you guys later. Thanks again.